Hello and welcome back. In this BLACKEXCELLIST presentation, we will highlight Nichelle Nichols, the Star Trek pioneer.
Welcome to blackexellist.com, the site where we share Black excellence, opulence, and affluence. Our mission is to inspire you as we enlighten you.
We want to celebrate Star Trek's Nichelle Nichols, the legend who first embodied the role of Lieutenant Nyota Uhura. Nichols' role was groundbreaking, as she was one of the first Black women featured in a major television series for her role as bridge officer on board the USS Enterprise for the original series of Star Trek. The legendary sci-fi TV series promised to seek out new life and new civilizations and to boldly go where no man had gone before. And in so many ways, it did. Not only did the show tackle some of the biggest social and political challenges of its time, but it also featured an intelligent, beautiful Black woman on primetime TV in a high-powered role. Nichols truly was decades ahead of her time. Her life and career is a tapestry of events and experiences which led to diversity in NASA's space program, as well as serving as an unprecedented inspiration for a generation of young female fans and proud Black viewers. In this original BLACKEXCELLIST video, we will be featuring Nichelle Nichols, the trailblazing actress, singer, and dancer. So without further ado, let's get started. 1. Nichelle Nichols was born on December 28, 1932 in Robbins, Illinois. Born Grace Dell Nichols, she was born to Samuel Earl Nichols and his wife Salish Parks Nichols. Her father Samuel was a factory worker and businessman who was elected both town mayor of Robbins, Illinois and its chief magistrate. Her mom Salish had been a scholar who hoped to attend law school, but she had her hands full as a homemaker bringing up their 6 children. Grace was always strongly opinionated and did not care much for her name. After approaching her parents with her objection, they agreed that she could change her name and suggested the new name Nichelle. The Nichols family was a fiercely independent and determined family who ultimately moved to an apartment in Chicago. Nichols remembers often standing by the doors that separated their living room from the dining room, eavesdropping on grown-up conversations. She admits she learned quite a bit just listening to adult conversations about politics, work, and love. 2. Nichols studied classical ballet at the Chicago Ballet Academy. Nichols described herself as a precocious youngster who liked to sing Broadway show tunes and entertain her siblings. At an early age, she began dancing lessons and was captivated by classical ballet. She was so talented that by the age of 12, she began studying classical ballet at the Chicago Ballet Academy. She was first denied an audition at the academy because the instructor informed her father that Blacks could not possibly hope to undertake a formal study of ballet because he felt that African Americans weren't suited for it. Her father, both furious and humiliated, found his ignorance utterly unacceptable and insisted that his daughter has a right to attend the academy. She pursued Afro-Cuban dancing under the tutelage of Carmencita Romero. The latter experience helped her land her first professional engagement at the tender age of 14, with a song and dance review staged at the prestigious Sherman House Hotel. 3. Nichols began her show business career at the age of 16. Nichols was discovered at the age of 16 during the late 1940s. Nichols did a performance at the Sherman House where she met many of the prominent nightclub artists of the day, including the immortal Duke Ellington. Ellington was so impressed with her dancing that he later invited her to join his touring company. Nichols toured with both Ellington and Lionel Hampton as a lead singer and dancer. As a singer for Duke Ellington in a ballet, she created one of his compositions and later sang with his band. After switching to acting, she was twice nominated for the Sarah Siddons Award for Best Actress in The Blacks and Kicks and Company. After serving as an opening act for comedian Red Fox, Nichols found herself dancing along with Sammy Davis Jr. as a principal dancer in her film debut, Porgy and Bess, in 1959. By 1963, she was back in Los Angeles looking for work in television. On her very first television assignment in 1964 as a guest role on the series The Lieutenant, she met an up-and-coming writer-producer named Gene Roddenberry. 4. Gene Roddenberry cast Nichols as the groundbreaking role of Lieutenant Uhura. Gene Roddenberry, Star Trek series creator and television screenwriter, saw his groundbreaking television series as an attempt to say that humanity will reach maturity and wisdom on the day that it begins not just to tolerate, but take a special delight in the differences in ideas and differences in life forms. His casting of Nichelle Nichols as a Federation Starfleet high-ranking bridge officer and a communication specialist was part of Roddenberry's vision to create a highly progressive show that would allow him to make statements about the current political and cultural environment of America in the 1960s. Nichols proudly stood with the racially diverse cast of the original 1966 series that included a Black woman, a Russian, and an Asian man. Nichols stood out as Lieutenant Commander Uhura, since this was one of the first times that an African-American actress was portrayed in a non-stereotypical role, and an African-American female at that. In fact, Nichols represented very well as one of the first Black women featured in a major television series with a prominent role. Black America, and even Nichols herself, was stunned by the opportunity to be seen in the homes of Middle America on a weekly basis. Nichols' character was highly intelligent, very sociable, and very talented, often singing in the rec room and while on bridge duty of the USS Enterprise. Even more impressive, Uhura was famously gifted in linguistics and had the ability to interpret other languages. Lastly, Roddenberry wasn't afraid to poke holes in the politics and beliefs of his time. When Star Trek first hit the airwaves in 1966, it was during one of the most tumultuous times in American cultural history. The United States was experiencing the civil rights movement, draft riots, race riots, assassinations, anti-war protests, you name it. The country was in the middle of complete social upheaval, but Star Trek offered a world that transcended all of America's challenges without denying them. 5. Dr. Martin Luther King convinced Nichols not to quit after its first season. During the first year of this series, Nichols was tempted to leave the Star Trek set as she wanted to pursue a Broadway career, and moreover, she felt her role was being diminished. Nichols grew up in musical theater and felt that she truly belonged to theater, not to television or movies. Nichols was so determined to field the numerous offers she received from Broadway that she submitted her resignation letter to Roddenberry and didn't think twice about it. Just a few days later, she would have a chance encounter that would give her a change of heart. During an NAACP fundraiser in Beverly Hills the following weekend, one of the organizers introduced her to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Nichols was surprised and delighted to hear that he was a big fan of hers and the show. King continued to tell Nichols that Star Trek is the only show that he and his wife Coretta allows their children to stay up and watch. Nichols was grateful to King and politely responded that she was going to miss Star Trek and her colleagues. She continued that she was leaving for Broadway to Dr. King's dismay. Dr. King interjected and told Nichols not only that she shouldn't leave, but that she couldn't leave. King emphasized to Nichols that she was helping change the face of television forever. She was a role model for millions of young girls and women across the country who needed to see that females and African Americans can be seen as equals. King went on in a way that Dr. King does and highlighted the fact that her role was a unique one for a unique point in time that breathed life into what he and others were marching for. King concluded that her character was bigger than Nichols and that it was key to the civil rights movement. She was the only African American on TV as a prominent and respected character who performed in dignity and knowledge. Nichols was stunned and speechless. She thought of herself as a simple cast member, as an actress with little impact and even fewer lines, not as a role model for men and women of color. It was the first time that the importance of her role and the magnitude of Star Trek's impact became abundantly clear to her. The following Monday, Nichols returned back to work on Star Trek and continued to play Lieutenant Uhura in every Star Trek episode and movie for the next 40 years. 6. Nichols was involved in the first interracial kiss seen on a major TV show. There are so many wonderful scenes with Nichols' character, Lieutenant Uhura, throughout the Star Trek franchise, but the scene that would change TV forever was the kiss that Lieutenant Uhura shared with Captain Kirk, played by William Shatner. It is said to be the first interracial kiss in an American TV series. The kiss seen around the world was a 1968 episode titled Plato's Stepchildren. Captain Kirk and Lieutenant Uhura were being controlled by aliens through telekinesis, and consequently, they were forced to kiss each other. At that time, interracial relationships were taboo and shunned upon by most of white America. In fact, the episode aired only 1 year after the U.S. Supreme Court declared that interracial marriages were even legal. For that reason, having a white actor kiss a black actress was highly controversial for the executive team and NBC. After the episode aired, NBC Studios received massive negative letters claiming that they had crossed the line. However, Star Trek, already known for its themes of acceptance of both people and aliens of every shape, size, and color, found that the historic interracial kiss was widely accepted across the United States. The Uhura-Kirk kiss was another example of Star Trek trying to open the door to those kinds of representation. As NBC News reported, the kiss sent the audience the wonderful message that in their utopian-like future, interracial relationships were not an issue. It's interesting that Nichols didn't herself find the kiss remarkable or intriguing, to say the least. It might have been rare in the American media and to American society in the 1960s, but there was nothing unusual about it in her family. After all, her grandfather was white and her grandmother was black. As far as Nichols was concerned, this was just everyday life. 7. Nichols' life would continue after Star Trek in other roles and capacities. The 1966 original Star Trek series only ran for 3 seasons and then went into syndication. Nichols went on to reprise her role as Uhura several subsequent Star Trek films, as well as sequels, until she was in her mid-50s. Nichols appeared in small television and film roles as well. She briefly appeared as a secretary in Dr. You've Got to Be Kidding Me, released in 1967. Nichols also portrayed a foul-mouthed madam in Truck Turner, opposite Isaac Hayes. This was her only appearance in a blaxploitation film, and after she appeared, she swore off the genre forever due to its negative representation of the black community. For Nichols, the promise of blaxploitation, that it would create opportunities for black filmmakers to tell stories about black characters that were multifaceted, human, and complex, simply wasn't being fulfilled. In 1975, Nichols established Women in Motion Inc., a consulting company that produced educational materials using music as a teaching tool. The new company helped serve as a catalyst for young women to pursue their dreams in dance and ballet. In 1994, Nichols published her autobiography, Beyond Uhura, Star Trek and Other Memories. In 2004, she provided the voice for herself in the Simpsons episode, Simple Simpson. In the 2002 comedy film, Snow Dogs, Nichols appeared as the mother of the male lead, played by Cuba Gooding Jr. Nichols played a recurring role on the 2nd season of the NBC drama Heroes. In August 2016, she was introduced as the aging mother of Neil Winters on the long-standing soap opera The Young and the Restless. And for this role, Nichols received her first Daytime Emmy nomination in 2017 in the Outstanding Guest Performer in a Drama Series category. Furthermore, Nichols has released 2 music albums over her career. Down to Earth is a collection of standards released in 1967 during the original run of Star Trek. Her second album, Out of This World, was released in 1991. It is rock-oriented and is themed around Star Trek and space exploration. 8. Nichols married twice and was blessed with a son from her first marriage. In early 1951, at the age of 18, Nichols married a dancer, Foster Johnson, who was 15 years her senior. Within 4 months, they separated, but in the same year, she bore her only son, Kyle. They were married in 1951 and divorced that same year. Johnson and Nichols had one child together, Kyle Johnson, who was also born in 1951. Nichols later married Duke Mondi in 1968, and they were divorced in 1972. Kyle followed in his mother's footsteps and went into the entertainment industry as an actor. Kyle began his acting career when he accompanied his mother to an audition for a stage play. The director saw Johnson and cast him on the spot for the production. 9. Nichols was hired as an ambassador for NASA to recruit minorities in STEM. Through her television role and appearances, Nichols would demonstrate the untapped potential of women in the field of space exploration. In 1977, Nichols accepted NASA's offer to help change its complexion and to recruit women and minorities for its space shuttle program. She would join the board of directors of the National Space Institute. NASA needed engineers, scientists, research specialists, and they partnered with Nichols' organization, Women in Motion. One of their first projects was to produce the agency's 1977 recruitment film, which Nichelle starred in. NASA's affiliation with Women in Motion was really one of the first STEM recruiting organizations and would rapidly diversify NASA by successfully recruiting more than 8,000 minorities over the next 10 years. She wanted to inspire women, especially minority women, to join the space program, and she did just that. Most of the recruits she launched were minority candidates of different races, ethnicities, and genders, like Air Force Colonel Guion Bluford, the first African-American male astronaut, Dr. Sally Ride, the first American female astronaut, Dr. Judith Resnick, an African-American astronaut, Dr. Ronald McNair, and former NASA astronaut Dr. Mae C. Jemison, who was inspired by Nichelle when she decided to become the first African-American female astronaut. An enthusiastic advocate of space exploration, Nichols performed outreach to high schools and worked with the Smithsonian to enhance the effort to bring science and technology to kids in their classrooms. Nichols received NASA's Distinguished Public Service Award for her work and served on the board until 1987. 10. Nichols received several awards and accolades throughout her career. In addition to those already mentioned, Nichols has been honored with numerous accolades and recognitions throughout her career. One of the biggest moments she'll always cherish is becoming the first African American to place her handprints in front of Hollywood's Chinese theater, along with the rest of the cast of the original Star Trek series. The actress, singer, and dancer later received her very own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on January 9, 1992. Nichols was awarded the Lifetime Career Award at the 2016 Saturn Awards for Science Fiction, Entertainment, and Musical Arts for her tireless support of NASA and space exploration. In 2010, Nichols received an honorary doctorate degree from Los Angeles Mission College. She was also elected as an honorary member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. In 2016, she received the Life Career Award from the Academy of Science Fiction, Fantasy, and Horror Films, and it was presented as part of the 42nd Saturn Awards ceremony. There is even an asteroid officially named after the actress, the asteroid 68410 Nichols. Nichelle Nichols is a legend and helped trailblaze the final frontier in Hollywood and was able to boldly go where no other African American woman had gone before.
We appreciate the fact that you stayed with us until the end. Thank you for spending time with us, and don't forget to like this video. Also, make sure you subscribe so that you never miss a video. Bye for now. We will see you tomorrow.